Hey guys, how's it going? James here from Audio.etc. This is part 3 of my BMW X5 complete stereo installation, amplifier install, everything. Part 3 out of 5, so if you want to see parts 1 or 2, you can click probably down in the related videos section or on the card up here. I'll put part 1 up here. As I said at the beginning of my last video, if you're following on with this project, thanks for sticking with me and enjoy the video. Morning guys, how's it going? Yep, Friday, next day, last day of the week. Got my coffee, working on the reversing camera at the moment. So I've got this little template here which I made up, and it's like the exact profile slash footprint of the camera that I'm putting in, and it also shows me where the hole for the mounting bolt goes. And what I'm thinking of doing is having it up here, like it just seems to fit. I've closed both the doors to make sure that it's not going to hit anything, and I think it will be alright. So just right there on the edge is where I'm thinking of putting it. Only thing I'm slightly concerned about is with where I put the hole, where it winds up there, because this piece of metal comes down on a 45, so I think I probably will end up drilling through the middle, but I'm pretty sure it won't come through this piece. That wouldn't be good. Just when you look at it from the side profile, the hole seems to line up exactly with that edge, and I don't think the bolt is that tall anyway. I think it'll be right. I'm just gonna have to have a go. But I've seen that the GoPro is on low battery at the moment. Didn't get a chance to give it a good charge up last night, so I'm gonna whack that on charge now, and hopefully when you guys see me next, I'll have successfully found a good place to put the camera without causing any damage. Okay, so I think I've got the camera situation sorted. Camera is mounted on the bottom of this thing. Let me just pull this down so you guys can see. So actually I probably almost closed that. So yeah, there's just that little special nut in there which comes with the camera that's holding that on, and I've put some fabric tape around the base end of the cable here so that when it goes through the metal, because you can see there I've drilled a hole. I followed through from the hole I drilled here, widened it up a wee bit so there's a bit of, you know, room for movement and leeway, and then the cable comes along. I was able to grab it here and then push it the rest of the way through and out, and now this goes up in like that, and yeah, it's on. And if I hold it here, you can see that when I pull it down just a wee bit, that fabric tape is working, because like a nice big thick of that piece of that fabric tape is the only thing coming in contact with the edge of the metal, and that's what I want, because that's there to protect the cable against chafing, because we don't want the cable to, you know, rub against the metal and cut itself open. So that's good. Got that mounted. Now I can screw that back on and start looking at running the cables that need to go inside here. The RCA cable is here. I got it coming out of that hole. I haven't got it through the grommet yet, so I've got to do that. And then there's just a piece that goes in between this end and the RCA, which I need to wire up. And then we'll be good. And that'll be the camera done, which actually was pretty easy. So that's good. Okay guys, so I got it all, you know, loomed and cable tied up in place. That's all done, so I can close this now. What's good about this lid is that if it doesn't close properly, like the motor kind of grabs it and pulls it down tight, so now it's not going anywhere. So you can see the camera just hiding way up under there, not hitting on anything. That's good. I've got up the front here my test screen. This is what we use to try and figure out what things are going to look like. So it's just a basic screen with a you know, a coaxial input and a couple of power wires. So I've got it all hooked up at the front here, and that's what it looks like. Hopefully that will focus and you guys can see that. Wee bit of the bumper along the bottom that you can see there, but that's okay. You can see the toe ball, and that's the main thing. And there's enough vertical angle or elevation that you can actually see straight back to the very back wall, which is a long way away. So that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Good. Now I can put the boot back together, and then I'll be on to dealing with the whole head unit situation. Still got to tackle the steering wheel controls. Don't know how that's going to go. Looks like something just arrived from Pioneer. Let's have a look here. One of those. Thank you. Actually, I think I'll use the boot as a nice place to lay everything out. Okay. USB extension lead. Power harness, screws, microphone, remote, manual and warranty, trim panel, faceplate, case cover foam thing, stereo. Here we go. One of those. Now I can mount it in the brackets. Looks like it just pops on to something. That'll work. Oops. Get them out. 1 and 2. And in this bag, got 4 plastic clips, some screws, and some mounting hardware. Sweet. Okay, I'm pretty sure the thin side goes at the top because there's a big lip at the bottom of the dash in the car. So if it was that way, the stereo would hit, so it must be this way up. So what I need to do is have these kind of clipped onto there, I think, like that. And then I need to get the stereo and mount it through. Screw it in place so that I know I've got stereo as far forward as possible. Okay. Okay, that's the head unit mounted. In the dash at least. Oh, in the trim. How does this mount to the dash? Like, what stops this from going in any further? Or from, how does that mount there? I don't understand. Some fitting kits come with instructions, but this one didn't, so that's annoying. I mean, the trim is right for the hole, but how do you get this to mount to the car? Okay, so I don't know if this fitting kit is made for like an X5 that has a different system in it or what. I thought X5s only came with a ridiculous navigation system, but the fitting kit I've got, like, though it looks right, it doesn't like factory mount onto the factory mounting locations, so I'm gonna have to make something. I think what I'm gonna do is make something out of either MDF or ABS plastic that is going to like kind of fill in this hole mostly with a hole in the center for the stereo to go through, and it's gonna have holes where the factory mounting points are, and also holes for where the plastic clips on the back of this need to go through. So it's basically, what I'm going to try and do is copy the shape of the factory head unit to get the mounting points, and then I'm going to start cutting out sections for the head unit to slip through and for these pops to go through. And then what will happen after that is that will mount on, and then this thing will slide in and I'll screw through these big wide wings into that to secure it in there. Probably just with some, PK screws, so I'm thinking I'll probably just use MDF because ABS will probably just strip really easily unless I use nut and bolts, but that would be quite hard. I think MDF will give me the thickness I want as well, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And then after that I have to wire up the stereo, run the microphone, and get the and try and get the steering wheel controls going. But I think it is kind of important that I do try and focus some time on actually getting the head unit able to mount in there. Yeah. So this here is the factory unit. It's got a mounting point here, here, and along the bottom here as well. There's like 4 of them. So I think just the middle to get used, but I'm going to try and copy that whole outside shape to a piece of MDF and go from there. Okay, I've got a template kind of made up. Here's what I'm thinking. It's just like, it did have a crossbar on it, but the crossbar at the top was just getting really thin and getting probably impossible thickness to actually work with, so I ended up just taking the crossbar out. So this is supposed to just slot in here like this. The reason I didn't cut this whole corner out, whereas down here, because as you can imagine that's where those pops in the back of this have to go through these 4 holes, is that there are mounting locations for this piece actually up here, like the screw holes there and there. So I'm gonna have to try and be real accurate and get the screw holes right, and then cut out holes with my Dremel into the piece of MDF that I'm gonna make. And I'm also going to, I think, because the other mounting locations are down there, I'm going to make the piece a wee bit taller, and I'm going to extend little bits out below that, so it'll go in like that and fold, and then you can imagine there'll be little pieces jutting out the bottom of this to slot into those things, so that there's a bit more room for the screw to cover. So I'm going to make that, and then the idea would be this will slot onto it. I'll screw those plastic wings there into the MDF baffle, and then after that this will pop onto it. Hopefully that works. I'm going to try and make it. I think with thickness I've kind of worked out I want to go as thin as I possible out of MDF, but not like super thin. I'm going to try, I think, with like 6mm MDF, and hopefully that will work. I'm just going to have a go at it and see if it works. Okay guys, so I've got myself a panel thingamajig. So I was able to cut those holes out, by the way, with my Dremel that I bought a while ago. It actually worked really well. So now, yeah, this pretty much just sits in here, and what I need to do now, I think, is just, okay, so that is, what's that hitting on? I might need to, see, I'm just like sort of putting in and making adjustments as I go. I think I might need to take a slither off these side pieces here, because it's hitting on this piece of the dash and it needs to sit on the plastic there. But I need to make sure that those holes line up with the screw holes there. Let me just check that these screw holes all line up. And that one is good. Sweet, so I got the screw holes all in the right place. This thing now should just like, it doesn't pop onto that, but that's sitting in about the right position, I think. That's with it almost all the way in. Okay, so so now we've got the plastic stopping on the screw there. Let's see how it fits with the stereo in there. Hopefully it's not sitting too far out. So what I do need to do is drill some holes through so that I can screw these 2 things together, but what I should be able to do now is just pop that on. Beautiful! That's going to work. Brilliant! I'm happy with that. There's a slight gap along the top here, but I don't think there's anything you can really do about that. I think it's just, you know, the shape of the fitting kit, you know. Fitting kits only ever come up to a certain quality, you know. I mean, unless you get like a made by the brand, like a BMW made fitting kit, but those things can cost hundreds of dollars just for a piece of plastic. This one is cheaper. That's actually looking really good. I'm happy with that. I'm quite glad that that worked out, and I'm not going to have to make another bezel out of a different piece of wood. Let's sit this in here. I'll go get the drill. How many screws do I want to hold this thing? 4? Yeah, see, now, like I was thinking, I wonder if I could just, you know, like bolt the stereo onto the piece of wood and then screw the whole piece of wood in. But I don't think it's going to work, because these screws that are up in the top corners are slightly behind the plastic a wee bit. In fact, I'm tempted just to file that plastic back a wee bit so that it does fit all the way on. I think I will. I just need to make a little filing across these top corners. That's not too hard. In which case I could possibly bolt it on with a couple of M5 bolts. I think I need to put like a screw in each hole as I go so that it doesn't, so the screw holes don't become unaligned. You know what, I think I could probably get away with just using these nice PK screws. We've got, they're not special, but like they're cool because they're, already matted black. They've got a great big flange on them, and they've got a really wide thread. It's almost like a wood screw, but without the cutting threads on it. One. In fact, higher is better because it means it's going to close off that gap at the top. Panel still pops on. Oh yeah, it does. Cool. I just need to make sure that that top one still popped on because it got kind of close. Now I need a pry bar to get it back out. Ooh. Might be easier having this piece off first. There we go. That's good. Okay. 2 more holes. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother with nut and bolts. I'm just going to use these things. But I am going to paint this piece of wood black. I'm really happy with how that worked out. That worked out quite good. I did have to dismantle the factory screen to kind of get the profile footprint of what I was trying to make, but no biggie. So I'm just going to make a couple of modifications. Just need to file that or cut that edge off a wee bit slimmer, and same down here. Get rid of the bits of wood sticking out the back of it now from the screw holes. File off a little bit of the plastic on those brackets, paint it black, and then while that's drying, I will get all the wiring done as much as I can. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. That was part 3 of my 5-part series for installing the system into the BMW X5. If you want to see parts 4 and 5 or want to be notified when they come out, make sure you hit the subscribe button down here-ish, and also hit the bell button so that you're notified when the new videos come out. As I said at the end of my videos, guys, thanks for watching, have a good day, and here are the teaser photos of what it looks like when it's finished.